Welcome to the Blogger Genius Podcast, brought to you by Milo Tree. Here's your host, Jillian Leslie.
Hello, everyone. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the show. This is my last new episode for 2019. I'm weirdly excited for 2020, and I'm excited about the new stuff we're rolling out with Milo Tree. We have a new pop-up. It should be live by the time this episode airs, where you can link it to anywhere, to a blog post, to a promotion, to a sales page, to anything, and add a photo so you can direct your visitors to where you want them to go. I'm excited about that. Also, we are building a pop-up for Facebook to grow your Facebook groups. Right now, you can grow your Facebook business page, but this will enable you to grow your groups. And please join my Facebook group, the Milo Tree Mastermind group. It is really cool. It's an extension of the podcast, as I've mentioned previously. Okay, for today's guests, I've got Jessica and Amy back on the show. These are my ads experts, and we are talking about cold audiences. And really, if you're thinking of starting with ads on Facebook, this is where you want to start. It's really the cheapest way to drive traffic to your blog or your site. And I think we really break it down and make it hopefully understandable. Facebook ads can be tricky and complicated. So what I love about Jess and Amy is that they are able to go piece by piece and explain the value and all of that. So without further delay, here is my interview with Jessica Gleim and Amy Christie from the digital marketing agency Flairst. Jessica and Amy, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having us. We're happy to be here.
So, okay, you guys, so this is the deal. We're talking about ads, and we're talking about Facebook ads. And you guys have come out with a course to really introduce people to Facebook ads. But let's take a step back and talk about the value of Facebook ads. And do you feel like if you sell something today, you need to be running ads? Or do you think you can work your butt off and still get organic traffic and grow your sales that way?
So,
sorry.
So when Jess and I started in online things, we started about 10 years ago, and that was when all the social media platforms really worked for content creators and brands and stores and things like that. You posted something on Facebook, and the people that wanted to follow you saw it. And same thing with Pinterest. Like you got people to follow you on Pinterest, and then you pinned your stuff, and then all those people that followed you saw your stuff. Well, in the time between the start of those platforms and now, that has been the algorithm has changed, and the algorithm does not work for content creators and brands and stores anymore. It works for the social media platforms. And so in order to get your content to be seen by the people who do want to see it and to find new people, the process now is to do ads. To get those, so that make sure that your content's getting out there, because it's not going to work like it did before. You can still get organic traffic, you can still do SEO, you can still post, all of those things work. But in order to get more traffic, more engagement, more people, involved in your brand, that needs to come from ads.
Okay, so it is then pay to play.
Yes. And the reason why we like doing all types of digital and social media ads, but Facebook, and then that includes Instagram, because Facebook owns Instagram. So when we're talking about Facebook as an ads platform, just know that that includes Instagram, but it's still the number one most used social platform, and people spend an average of more than 11 minutes per day. And that's a really long time that people are spending on one social media platform in a day. And we spend on average over 2 hours and 16 minutes a day total on social media platforms. So, when we're browsing Instagram, and then we look and check Facebook, and then somehow we click over to a video on YouTube, right? So we're spending a lot of time on Instagram, and that's where your people are. That's where your customers are spending their free time, browsing the internet. And they're also shopping. So over, like Amy mentioned, not only have the algorithms changed in the last decade, but the way that we use the internet and the way that we use social media in our lives has changed. Facebook is really now for groups. People really participate and engage well in groups. Well, you know what else people are doing on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest? They're shopping now. It is super normal and common. Amy and I have both done it, and you maybe have too.
I do too.
You're on Instagram and you see some cute sweatshirt.
Shoes. For me, it's shoes.
And you've never heard of this shop before, but it's some cute brand, and you click over and you see, and there's two other your friends like that shop too, and you see that they've got 78,000 Instagram followers, all this cute stuff, and you buy a sweatshirt with cats on it for $19. So in 2018, shoppers spent $1.78 trillion on consumer goods alone via social media.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you go to the mall and you see that there aren't as many people at the mall because they're all on Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram buying stuff.
I mean, you can do it any time of the day. Like, I'm shopping in the middle of the night when I wake up, and, I find, the cutest shoes on Instagram, and because it really works for everyone. You can get it wherever you have your phone, you can shop.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So then, for example, since my audience is a lot of bloggers, and wait, before I go there, let's talk about the fact that it is cost effective. Like, it's not, you can make it not crazy expensive to run ads on Facebook, which means Instagram, or on these platforms. So it's not like renting out a billboard on the highway.
Right. Exactly. Or doing a, transit bus ad or something, or a newspaper ad.
Or doing a commercial on NBC.
Exactly. You can use content that you already have, which most likely you do. If you're a blogger and you're an e-commerce store, you've got beautiful pictures of your product or your content. You can use that you already have, and then you build a Facebook campaign, and the minimum ad spend is just $5. And so that's not $5 per campaign. Nope. That's just $5 a day. That you can run across. You could have 2 campaigns that split that. So that's just the minimum spend. And so I think everybody can figure out, if you can come up with $35 a month to try this, per month for an ad spend, I think people can do that.
Wait. I think your math, it's like $150 a month.
Yeah. $35. Was it? Hang on. Let me do the math. And 5 times 30, 150.
Right.
I think I was doing it for 30. Yeah. Is 35 a week.
Yep.
Sorry. 35 a week, $150 roughly a month. And I think that is doable. I think $150 is not a scary number for most people. It's like, okay, I can do this. I can save this money. I can come up with this and try this for a month and see what happens. And specifically with cold traffic, which is what we're talking about today and our course is all about, it is a little bit of a no-brainer because it's the top of the funnel. You're trying to show it to as many people as possible, and that's going to convert to new eyes on your brand, introduced to your product, or seeing your content for the first time.
Okay, so let's say I'm a blogger though, and I just create content and I'm making my income via ads on my site and some sponsored posts and things like that. Is it ever worth it for me to be running ads? Because again, if you have a CPM, which means how much you're making on an ad that shows on your site, you're probably making $1 for every 1,000 visitors who see that ad.
Okay.
So does it ever make sense to run ads for your content when you're not selling a product?
So the purpose of running ads for content when you're not selling a product would be one. So if you need to get your numbers up. So let's say maybe you've started a couple years ago and things have been growing, but like things have stalled out. Like Amy had mentioned in the beginning, you were using Pinterest for pinning and people were coming over. A lot of your traffic came from, a certain area, and then that's really stalled out as things have changed. A way to grow your traffic and the way to grow your numbers of what people are seeing is through advertising. Now, cold traffic ads are usually anywhere when we look at benchmark information, and that's how we decide. That's one of the first rules that we decide if an ad is done well or not, is overall cost per click is like $1.40. Now, that doesn't mean that your ad can't run for a cold click that's maybe 20 cents or under. That's totally common too. But that's just the average industry benchmark. Now, when you look at that, and if you're spending $5 a day, right, that's not that many clicks that are coming over to your website. So that is something that you need to think about when you think about traffic, and you're thinking about like what kind of numbers do you need to show? Do you need to show really great numbers to an advertiser who you did you created a piece of content with? I think that's a great place to use ads, because that money will be spent getting people to see the content that you've created and the partnership, and that will help further the great results that you want to share with that partner. I think that's a great example of when you'd want to use it. And then I think when you are still building and you need to find more people to see what you're promoting or get them to share or get them to engage with your content, that's a great opportunity to use cold traffic. But I think the key is to just be strategic, to go into this with the mindset of, I'm just going to set up some cold traffic campaigns and that's it. The key with Facebook ads is to really be intentional and understand the purpose of why you are choosing to build this campaign, and that you know what the result is going to be, what you're expecting it to be. You're telling Facebook that you want the user, you're looking for those specific types of users.
Got it. Okay. So wait. So to back up, yes. So it really doesn't make sense then, if you just want traffic, to be paying money for clicks when you're just making money by showing ads on your site.
Yeah, if that's your only. Right. That might not be your biggest bang for your buck.
Right. Where it would make sense is, I'm working with Walmart doing a post, and I want to show them that I've gotten a lot of clicks to this post because I need to give them my stats.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, like
even
when you
go ahead.
I was going to say, when you think about like what you need to have for those partnerships and those sponsorships is good numbers. Well, how are you going to get good, bigger, higher numbers? And that is getting traffic to your site. And then, how do you get traffic to your site? You run an ad to get traffic to your site.
Right. So one thing that I would do on Catch My Party when I'm working with brands is I allocate a certain amount of money, knowing that I was going to run ads to either, I will tell them that. So it almost is like, well, this is in addition. So this isn't money I'm putting in my pocket.
Right.
Like, so I will up my fee in order to buffer in the money that I'm going to use to run ads.
I think
good plan.
That's a perfect example of making a strategic decision, right? That you're using Facebook ads as a tool in your, toolbox that you're carrying around for your website.
So does it ever make sense to boost a post?
So the difference between boosting a post and a cold traffic campaign is, boosting a post is when you have the post on your page's timeline and you put some money behind it, and then you show it to an audience if you're choosing. You can choose either to have it show in your audience's newsfeed or an Instagram. But the limitations for what that boosted post can do usually includes things like, boosting like your page likes, your shares, or your comments. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, there's not a whole lot else you can do. So if that's what you need to do, it depends on what you need to get the statistics back for, like for a sponsorship or any kind of partnership that you have going on, that might be enough that you need to do. You want to make sure that they see that you do have an engaged audience and you have those likes and things like that. The cold traffic campaign, or any kind of campaign, it's a more customized process. So instead of just getting, post likes, there's a bunch of other options and objectives that you can do within the ads manager.
Imagine growing your Instagram followers with no work. Highly engaged followers. Now imagine it with Pinterest, Facebook, YouTube. How about new email subscribers? Seriously, no work. This is all possible if you install the Milo Tree pop-up on your blog. David, my husband, and I started our blog, Catch My Party, in 2009. We've since grown it into the largest party ideas site on the web with millions of page views per month. We did it with hard work and our secret weapon, our Milo Tree pop-up, which David built for us. We've grown our Pinterest followers to over 1.3 million and our Instagram followers to over 164,000. And right now, 8,000 other bloggers just like you are using Milo Tree to grow their businesses. With Milo Tree, you can focus on growing one platform or switch between several. But here is the important thing. If you aren't converting your visitors into followers, subscribers, and customers, you're honestly wasting your own traffic. Make this asset, your visitors, work for you. Since we're bloggers, we get bloggers. So we've optimized Milo Tree like crazy. It's a snap to install. It won't slow your site down. It's Google friendly on mobile. And it's so darn cute. You can even add animated sparkles to your pop-up if you like. Sign up now and get your first 30 days for free. Please pause this episode and head to milotree.com to sign up. I know you will thank me. As a bonus, once you sign up, I'm going to send you weekly actionable business tips to help you grow your business. I've been at this a long time and I have a lot to share. Remember, your scarcest resource is not money, it's time. So let Milo Tree free up time for you so you can focus on the other important parts of your business. So what are you waiting for? Hit pause, head to Milo Tree, and sign up today. So let's talk about a cold audience campaign. And what you were saying, Jessica, was that what it really is doing is finding people who don't know you. So to just take a step back, this is really for people who are selling something. Would you agree?
I think that you need to have a definitive plan of how you monetize your content and your website or your brand. So that would be if you're an e-commerce store, this is a great thing to be doing for e-commerce stores. If you have a guide of some kind or some kind of tripwire that you're selling, or you've got some kind of something that you've created that you're selling on your site, this would be great for that. If you have maybe your top pieces of evergreen content that are going to blow up. For example, when Amy was blogging back in the day, she has content that gets like 150,000 views or hits during the holiday season because it's a piece of content that people are looking for. So if that was a post that really converted well for you, then that might be a piece of content that we would suggest sending a traffic ad for, right? So like anything that you can strategically have a plan behind of what you can convert to some kind of sale.
Yep.
We think that running cold traffic ads on Facebook is a great choice.
And also, how about to grow your list?
Yes. So you've got some options. Okay. So the biggest thing about Facebook is that it knows all this information about us because there's this pixel. And the pixel is Facebook's piece of tracking code that each advertiser installs on their own website. And that's how it knows all this stuff, the way that we interact with Facebook on the platform, right? Like what I'm clicking on, what I'm liking on, Facebook's tracking all that and they know what I'm into. But then they can also see on a website what kind of traffic and purchases are happening on the website. And that's how it knows who added something to cart and who didn't. So when I talked a little bit about earlier, the ways that people are using websites and did the digital world differently over the years is that you can send a traffic campaign to your website, and on the link that you're sending people to could be where your lead gen exists. Like you want them to sign up for your newsletter because you get 5 free recipes of cookies for the holidays, right? Or in Facebook, you can build a lead gen campaign right there within the platform.
Got it. So they add their name and their email address right there.
Right there.
Right.
The reason why that works well is because people we don't want to click. We want it to all happen right in front of us all the time. We don't want to click through things. We don't want to, right. So that's an option. So that's a whole separate other optimization category.
Okay. So for everybody, I think what you guys are saying is if you sell something or if you collect email addresses because you sell to your list,
Right.
like, or
You
you
monetize
have
your list.
or you've got a blog post that has affiliate links on it and you make money with those
Yep.
affiliate links. These are
Yep.
all opportunities where you
Yep.
should think about running ads.
Bingo.
And
Definitely.
okay.
The idea is that you don't want to be spending money and not recouping some of that,
Yes.
afterwards. I mean, if you want to run ads to your site and you don't make any money, but you have, your checking account never gets to zero, that's great if that's the way you want to do it. But the strategic and, thoughtful way that we're talking is that you want to be thinking about how it's going to help your bottom line in the long run. So
Right,
if
so
you're running those ads, is it, how is it going to improve the sale or the collection of email addresses so that in the end you are collecting or, making money at the end, because
Right.
that's the point of
So the goal is right. The goal is I spend $1 and I make $2. And if that's the case, then I would be all in on ads.
Exactly.
Because I'm
Right.
always,
Exactly
it's
right.
like they talk about this as a flywheel and you want to get the flywheel going because
Exactly.
then you can cover your ad costs and make more money. So it's not like, oh, this money is going out the window and I'm never going to see it again.
Right. Like,
Right.
so for example, we have somebody that we work with that runs super simple, have downloadable PDFs on Etsy, on their Etsy shop. And she sent cold traffic to her Etsy shop, downloadables. They're like less than anywhere between like $1 and $10. And she would get a cold click for less than 40 cents per click. And then 75% of them converted, So her ad spend of $150 resulted in $450 roughly a month in revenue back.
Exactly.
So that's a really simple example of that. And
Right.
I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about. That's a concrete, example of what would happen if somebody takes our course in that environment.
Okay, now rule of thumb is typically how much, usually what you can do is, let's say you sell a $100 product.
Mm-hmm.
Typically about a third of that, this is conventional wisdom, you
Yep.
can spend on marketing. So
Yep.
if you can get a sale for $33 or less, it is worth it. So don't think to yourself, well, I sell 100. Again, it all depends on what kind of product
Right.
you're selling.
Yes.
But let's say you're selling a product for $100 and you have to spend $99 in ads
Right.
to make one sale, and then you're going to make $1. Chances are you've already spent that dollar on
Right.
who knows what else, on your
Right.
email marketing service or
Right.
whatever. So you have to be
Right.
very mindful that it isn't you're going to spend almost up until the cost of the product or
Right.
how much you make
Right.
for it. So usually the rule of thumb is about a third you can
Yeah.
spend toward acquisition, customer
Yes.
acquisition. So
Yes.
that's just a rule of thumb. Okay. So what we're talking about then is running a cold traffic campaign, which means these are people who do not know you, who do not know your product, but they're going to go, that's
Yep.
an interesting pair of shoes, or that's a cool sweater. And
Yes.
all of a sudden they're going to become aware of you. And isn't this the cheapest kind of ad that you can run
Yes.
to get the most traffic?
Exactly. So the average cost per click in 2019 over all industries was $1.72.
Okay.
So one of the ways that we can, see, like you said, is this worth it or not, is just the cost. And so thinking about and going, that just gives you a concrete number, $1.72. But again, it can be as low. We've seen and run cold traffic campaigns for less than 20 cents per click. So somewhere in there, those are some actual numbers that people can think about when they're thinking about how much they should be spending, to sell their product.
Okay. And also it's seasonal. So right now in Q4, you're competing with Target and you're competing with all of these big brands that, by the way, are not just selling for Christmas, but they've got a marketing budget and they need to spend that marketing budget by the end of the year so that next year they can go back and say, we need a bigger marketing budget. Like if they're saving their marketing budget, that's not good for the marketing team. They are going to spend every dollar of it. And guess when they're going to spend it? Q4. So you need to also think in terms of seasonality, like is Q1, say, a better time because chances are advertising on Facebook is cheaper. Would you agree with that?
Totally. Well, everyone and their mother is gonna, pull out the stops for the holidays. I mean, especially if you're selling something, like this is the time of year when everyone's like, wait a minute, we should tell people about the sales. And then, not even just the, to buy our stuff, but there are like however many shopping event days here coming up with Black Friday and Shop Saturday and Cyber Monday and Giving Tuesday. And then there's the last shipping day, all that stuff. So yeah, people are pulling out all the stops. And like you said, they're trying to dump their budget. And so, and again, this is when people, I mean, I don't know about you, but every year in January, I'm like, dang it, I spent more money than I thought I was going to last month because that's just what happens. You get into, and you feel festive and you spend money. And so everyone and their mother is going to be putting up ads at this time of the year. So, again, so the ad rate is going to be just a bit higher because you are competing against them, all those other people. And so, but that is the way that it is. Like this happens every year in Q4.
Right. But again, you need to think about that in terms of your budget. Maybe if you're going to start advertising and let's say you sell an evergreen product, maybe January is when you go, you know what? I'm going to start my ad campaign in January.
Right. I mean, the thing is there are things to talk about for your brand in every quarter. It does. It's not just Christmas time. It's not just the holidays. That's not there. I mean, let's sit down and I will tell you every way that we can talk about your brand. In every time of the year. That's one of my favorite things to do. So don't get overwhelmed that if Q4, if you're again doing all the things for holidays and it doesn't work, that's fine. You can still do it in January. You can do it any month of the year and get things started.
Okay. So then let's talk about this, which is you can spend let's say $150 minimum per month. How long though? Facebook ads is all about learning, right? Because you think you know what's going to work, but you really don't know. And so a lot of it is trial and error and experimenting. How long does it take and how much money does it take to learn?
Okay. I think that people, again, being strategic, should go into this strategically and give themselves a couple of good solid months. It takes a couple of weeks really for Facebook to learn enough information to really have a good idea of what the final outcome of your ad is going to look like cost wise. So maybe it started out of the gate, it was 78 cents per, after it came out of the review phase, and then it was inactive learning, and out of the gate, it was 78 cents per click. And then you let it run for a couple weeks and maybe it came down to 67 because it really got itself fine-tuned on its own. So that's a little bit of the timeline that you should expect for your ads.
Now, how about in terms of typical spend? Because it's this weird balance, which is the more you spend, the faster you learn.
Correct. So because you're getting more than 50, right? More than 50 people going to your website. You're making that process happen faster. So if your ad spend is $5 a day, $35 a week, divided by 50. So that's 70 cents per click, roughly, those numbers. So to just have a concrete idea, again, you need to be able to have enough money to put behind your budget that you can get 50 clicks, those 50 people to come over to your website in that 7-day period of time. And the faster you can do that, the better. The more information and data, and the faster Facebook will learn how to optimize the ad for you on their own, and the faster you can figure out, where that ends. Like, oh, well, I'm going to pay, I usually pay 52 cents per click for a cold traffic campaign when I introduce a new collection of clothes.
Got it. So that's something to keep in mind, which is there might be a case for spending more money up front so that it does, because ultimately, if you're only spending $5 a day, you're not learning as much. And so it might cost you it might cost you more time and the same amount of money to get the same amount of learning.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an argument for not just doing $5 a day, but even $15 a day,
Exactly.
even though that's painful. And it is painful to watch it go out the door.
Yes.
However, also recognize that you've just saved yourself a huge amount of time.
Yes.
Okay. So in terms of just like, I don't know if this is possible, but in terms of benchmarks, so you were saying that the average cost people are spending for a click is, what did you say, $1.40,
So
$1?
across all industries, over everything. So we're talking like beauty and fashion and all the things. $1.72.
Okay.
Is for all industries. But then you can also get into the nitty gritty and look at like benchmark reporting from 2018 for Facebook ads. And it'll all, depending on your industry, you can see, if you're in the beauty industry, you could see maybe that that average is $1.20. I'm just saying that out loud. But just to give you an example, or maybe you're in the coaching industry and that average is 92 cents, right? So across all industries, it's $1.72.
Mm-hmm.
But then the next thing you're going to want to look at is what's a benchmark for this last year for your industry, and see what that number is, and see if you could hit that number out of the gate.
Okay. So what then, if I sign up for your course, what will you teach me to do?
We are going to teach you how to build a traffic campaign. So the objective is the term traffic. And that means that we are asking Facebook to show people your ad and click over to your website.
Great.
Okay. And then within that campaign, we are going to show you how to build 2 audience segments. So the first audience segment is going to be based on interest targeting. And that means that you are going to go in and specifically tell Facebook what kind of stuff your audience is into and who they are.
Great.
So for example, if you sell yoga supplies, and you are launching a new yoga mat, you are going to go in and tell Facebook you're looking for people 20 to, 55 who like Whole Foods and yoga and maybe some competing brands, right? And you can tell them specifically who those people are, and you can get really detailed, or you can be super basic. You choose. But that's called interest targeting. The second audience we're going to teach you to create is what is called a lookalike audience. And this is kind of where the magic happens with Facebook. A lookalike audience is an audience based on anything you tell Facebook that you want to find more people who act like these people. Meaning, you get traffic to your website already, and you're going to tell Facebook to find you an audience of new people that have never heard of you before, but they look just like the people who already come to your website.
So there are already people who love yoga and love Whole Foods and all and at this demo, and then you can go, if these people who had already come to my site like it, chances are there are other people just like them that don't know me yet, but they will know me and they will like my stuff.
The point of telling Facebook what you want it to do, and in the case of our course, saying is that it's traffic, is not only is Facebook going to show your ad to people that they think are going to like your brand, but they're going to show your ad to people who are most likely to click through. Mm-hmm. So some people, use Facebook and they never click on ads, but most people do interact with ads somehow or watch a video or whatever, and Facebook knows all that. So they're going to show your ad to people who you tell them to, but then also they're going to show it to people that know that they're most likely to click through to your website because that user clicks through on other ads to other websites.
Got it. It is creepy. But okay. Right. So if people want to learn more about your course, where should they go?
So head on over to our website, flairst.com.
Okay. So that's FLAIRST.com. Yep. Okay.
.com/courses.
Courses.
And that's where you will see our current course that we're talking about. Facebook ads are fun. Part 1, cold traffic campaigns. And that's also where you will be able to see the rest of our courses that we're building out. We've got an awesome list, as well as other resources that'll help you get started using digital marketing and digital advertising.
Okay, so again, if you sell something and you want to get relatively inexpensive traffic to your site, this is a good place to start.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's something that you can do. We will hold your hand and walk you exactly through it and tell you how to do it, and also how to tell if it was working or not.
Okay, Jess and Amy, thank you so much for coming on the show. And we will continue this conversation because it does get complicated.
It is.
But I like
Thanks
how
for
we're able
having
to
us.
break it down.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thanks for having us. We sure like you.
I hope this gave you an introduction to Facebook ads and what you can start to do with them, which is drive traffic back to your site or your blog. Now, remember, there is learning to be had. So these can be very powerful, but there's learning, which means there's expense up front. So you need kind of a strong stomach to start this. So keep that in mind. And I want to say, wow, I can't believe I won't be talking to you until 2020. But if you want to talk to me, always know you can reach out to me at Jillian@milotree.com. I'd love to hear from you. And also join my Facebook group, the Milo Tree Mastermind Group, because I will be popping in there during the holidays. So we are heading to Miami for about 6 days, and then to Seattle for another 6 days. And then I will be back, and I am really, really excited to grow all of our businesses, to help you guys grow your business in 2020, for us to grow our business in 2020. It just feels like a good year. For the next 2 weeks, I'm going to rebroadcast 2 of our most popular episodes, and I will see you here again next year.